In this video, I'll explain you how you can make your website CCPA compliant. First, I want to show you a few examples of customer using Secure Privacy CCPA module. And one of them here is SBS, a high-profile company, one of the largest operators and owners of radio stations in the US. And they work with television, radio, internet properties, and they run Secure Privacy on a number of websites, which we help them with, okay? Another one, a really great company to work with is Connected Bank, based out of California. Been there for more than 80 years and also do a lot of community work. As you see here on the screen, they have a number of banners and widgets running on the website. They provide very granular controls towards the visitor. I want to show you here as well, just live. Here you can see the privacy notices, but also that they have different trackers and cookies across different categories like advertisement, social media, analytics, providing, again, granular controls, allowing them to opt out and opt in as they see fit. All of this is fully automated by Secure Privacy for Connected right here, okay? Another one is a very cool company called Outrider. They have the website Outrider.ai. And again, as you see here, the banner is styled to fit their corporate branding. Beautiful designed in terms of colors and styles to really fit their unique branding that they have. Again, you see here being very transparent with the data they collect, why they collect it, and if they share it with anybody, okay? All of this is some of the case studies and examples, and just to show you the breadth of customers and industries we serve with Secure Privacy. I want to give you some examples of some of the industries we serve. So the first one here, as you see, is the travel, hotel, and hospitality industry. So we have clients here with thousands of domains, and obviously we have a lot of hotels running our solution here as well. Another one, very important, is the advertising industry, where IAB is a big player in the industry, and there's a lot of things happening this. So we have full focus, and a lot of big players are customers of ours as well. Software, often very reliant on having compliant web properties. They may have a lot of domains online as well, with different SaaS and products offered online, so we support that. A number of big car dealerships as well tend to have a lot of websites, and given the governance structure we have with the platform, this is something we're really well served at as well. So, and that actually comes again to franchises, chains, and restaurants, which may have a lot of brands, different locations, different countries, so a lot of domains there as well. We have a lot of big healthcare companies out of Europe and US. They often have very specific requirements in terms of security and compliance. So this is why they come to Secure Privacy. And the same thing here goes with finance and insurance, with having some very specific regulatory requirements, needs, and security concerns, where Secure Privacy is a really good fit, okay? Agencies, designers, communication bureaus is one of the long-standing areas where we've had customers, but also companies recommending their clients to use Secure Privacy. And obviously law firms, real estate companies, consultancy, freelancers, entertainment companies, as you saw before, music companies, media, and blogs. So just to give you an indication of some of the industries we serve and which may be helpful to you. So I want to spend just a little time for who is this presentation really for, okay? Now, perhaps you want to become compliant with CCPA, GDPR, and some other new or tough data privacy laws out there, okay? You may want to have something which is easy to install on your website. You want something which easily works with major content management systems such as WordPress, Wix, Magento, Google Tag Manager, anything out there, okay? Just a word of note here. Basically, if your website runs JavaScript, it will also work with Secure Privacy, okay? You may want to have something which easily categorizes your cookies and trackers automatically. Then Secure Privacy is definitely for you. You want something which is highly customizable to fit your website and brand in terms of color, styling, using, for instance, CSS. You want something which is easily to manage, but also scale on perhaps hundreds or even thousands of websites. You want a company, Secure Privacy in this case, which provides great support, and also you don't want to involve a lot of developers necessarily. It could be budget constraints, resource constraints, etc. So this is one of the things that benefits with Secure Privacy. You may want a tool that works with IAB 1.0, 2.0, and future releases out there. And also, you may not have the necessary skills both within legal, marketing, IT. So this is some of the reasons. So just moving on here, this may be you, may probably not. But so just to give you an indication that it may be a marketing type person, it may be an IT technology architect type person who would talk to Secure Privacy, or it could be a data privacy officer, general counsel, or a lawyer coming to have a demo of Secure Privacy. Okay. Now, you may also be in certain industries that are particularly in focus in terms of GDPR and CCPA. So obviously, you want to make sure that you don't end on the front cover of a big magazine or newspaper. But you may see that, okay, we're in the hospitality industry, Marriott got fined, we may want to do something around it. Okay, so just to give you an indication here of who this is for. So what I want to show you here is, and talk with you, is a bit about the trends coming up around CCPA and data privacy in the world. Okay. Now, if we take a look at GDPR and CCPA overall, it's some of the toughest data privacy laws out there, and they have really created what we call a new normal in terms of data privacy, right? So a lot of these laws are moving from focusing on, let's say, technologies alone. For instance, the e-privacy directive in Europe, focusing on cookies, now focusing actually on the citizen rights and permissions around, for instance, consent, right? Another massive law coming out is LGBT in Brazil. Obviously, Brazil with around 210 million people. This is going to be a big thing in 2020 and 2021. Also, we see a lot of states in the US are ramping up their data privacy efforts. Hopefully, one day we'll have a federal law in the US. So we have one baseline for all data privacy across the entire US, right? But we already know that Maryland, New Jersey, Washington are actually also looking at new laws. Okay, so we do see a big trend towards data privacy, consent management, the ability to opt in, opt out, being transparent with the data you collect. Obviously, there are differences in terms of how you should implement the laws. These are some of the things you see here on the right side of the slide. But these are some of the things we'd be happy to help you guys with. Okay. I just want to spend a little time here talking with you on what we call the some of the key concepts or some of the ideas why this is actually really complicated stuff. Okay. So one of the things is that when we talk CCPA and compliance on websites, it's something that often spans across marketing, communications, IT, and legal. Okay, and finding that one person who fits all of those buckets is almost impossible, right? You need marketing skills, understanding the CMS platforms, how it affects SEO, etc. At the same time, there is the communication elements, making sure that it's something which is easily understood by the visitors. Also on the IT side, there's a lot of performance, security issues. How do you scale up requirements, etc. And obviously legal, making sure that you are compliant with CCPA and other related data privacy laws out there. Okay, so it is really, really complicated stuff, to say that least. Okay. Now, our studies have also shown that more than 80% of companies miss the mark when it comes to website compliance. It may be simple things they get wrong in terms of, the ability to opt in versus opt out, the differences between CCPA and, let's say, GDPR. And as you've probably seen in the news, regulators are now increasingly focused on cookies, websites, e-commerce stores. So there's a lot of things happening around the online space. Okay. Also, companies need to do a lot more than just to show a cookie banner, which a lot of companies think they just need to do. Okay, but it often is founded in where you come from. If you come from IT, you think perhaps of a cookie banner and you search for some plugins. If you come from a legal background, you may be thinking from a privacy policy and expand from there. Okay, it's a lot more than that. And it's basically, lawyers are not tech people, developers not marketeers, and marketing people are not lawyers. So it gets quite complicated in that aspect. Okay, so when it comes to this, Secure Privacy is really the only company mastering these buckets in terms of data privacy. We don't do everything, but we do a few things really, really good. And we try to really focus around cookies, security, data privacy, and privacy automation, which is why our domain is secureprivacy.ai. Okay, cool. Just a little background on myself. So my name is Dan Storbeck, working with Secure Privacy for the last couple of years. I'm an ex-management consultant. I'm an author also of published articles in TechCrunch, The Next Web, and International Business Time. Some of them are the ones you can see in the right side. You can actually Google them and find them. Been working a lot internationally in United States, in China, also a lot of European countries, France, Spain, Sweden, Denmark, Norway. We're also based in Mumbai, India for a while, and also have working experience in Netherlands and 2 times in Germany. So, yeah, I also serve as a jury member on the Danish Legal Tech Awards, and from an educational background, I have an MSc, Master of Science in Business Administration and Computer Science, and also have a part MBA from Budapest. Okay. And also had a summer scholarship to study international leadership in Singapore. And we basically founded Secure Privacy as a spin-off from another successful company pre-GDPR, as we struggled having the need around GDPR. So really had some issues around that, but could see that we could solve this space in a very nice way using technology to automate and simplify a lot of things. Okay. And nowadays, as you may know, Secure Privacy is a leading data privacy company, and we do specialize in international cookie management and consent management. Okay. So I want to just show you some of the industries we help serving. Okay. So here we have some of the clients we help with within the software industry. Okay. And here we have different types of agencies, consultancies. This could be development agencies, web agencies, communication agencies, etc. Okay. Right here, we have a number of brands within the finance and insurance industry. And obviously, a big one for us is the whole media and advertising space, specifically, companies running our IAB banners. We support both 1.0 and 2.0. And here are some different hotels, luxury and property estates and client references. And lastly, also here we have a number of car dealerships, automobiles, accessories, in various companies right there. So also a lot of different websites in this space here. Just to give you an indication that we serve a lot of different industries with Secure Privacy. Now here I want to talk a bit about what is CCPA and what it means to you. The CCPA, also known as the California Consumer Privacy Act, is a data privacy law meant to enhance the privacy rights and consumer protection for the residents of California, US. The CCPA regulates how businesses collect, share, and process personal information, also known as PI, for the Californian residents. The CCPA gives us strict rules and guidelines for how to process personal data for individuals. And the data that is being collected on, let's say, your domains and websites by cookies can be seen as personal data. Therefore, it falls under the CCPA legislation. Organizations that are already compliant with GDPR may find it easier to also comply with CCPA. And within the European regulations, there are similar changes to how the cookie policy is required. Okay. Now, if we talk a bit about what you need to do, then there are a number of points I want to walk you through here. And then on the next couple of slides, I want to explain you a bit about some specific actionable steps that you need to do. Okay. Now, one of the things is that you want to make sure that you have a clear disclosure on your cookie policy. Okay. So a website must show the user a clear overview of the cookies used in a simple, understandable language. So under the CCPA, just having a legal statement somewhere on the website is not enough. Second, personal information. A website visitor might not share directly identifiable personal information on a website. However, under the CCPA, the data collected by cookies will be considered personal information. Okay? As cookies on a website, the company behind the website, so your company's website, you would be accountable for the data that is being collected. And accountability is for the management, security, and storage of the personal data. So if a website uses third-party scripts and cookies, the company should be able to manage this collected data, as they are essentially accountable for the data and the management hereof. Opt out of cookie consent. Your website must give the website visitor a clear choice to opt out for the use of cookies which are not essential, and this includes third-party cookies. And lastly, management of consent. A website visitor must be offered the option to give consent or change consent for the use of certain cookies, and each consent should be stored for reference at a later point in time. Now, to make it a bit more actionable, so we have then divided in 3 steps. Number 1, be transparent with the data you collect. So in the right side, you see an example of one of our clients be transparent with the data being collected, and this this UI here would support the CCPA's requirement to the right to notice. And with CCPA, it provides the Californian consumers with the basic sets of rights. And obviously one of the reasons is that, is to increase transparency and offer more control over the personal data which is being collected. So some of the questions you want to ask yourself include, are you being proactively displaying what cookies and trackers you have on your website? Yes or no. Do you categorize trackers and cookies? Yes or no. Do you have an updated privacy and cookie policy? Yes or no. And is it possible for consumers to contact you to request additional information? Yes or no. Now, moving on to the next actionable step, I want to provide some sort of access to the PI, an option for them to opt out of the tracking. So by having Facebook, Google, Twitter, LinkedIn, or similar advertisement platforms running on your website, you are essentially selling or reselling data to these social medias and these platform providers, okay? And the way it works is that you may not be using it, but if you're running some kind of plugin or a script on your website and you are sharing data, then you may or may not be making money of it using different advertisement tools and methods, okay? But you are sharing data, personal data may be included, so you need to provide an option to opt out. So in the screenshot in the right side, you see one of our clients running the preference center on the screen, and this one would support the CCPA's requirement to right of notice, the right to access, and the right to opt out. So some of the questions you want to ask yourself here include, can visitors change their permissions to cookies and trackers? Yes or no. Second, can users request data to be exported or deleted using a data request form? Yes or no. Do you have a do not sell my personal information link present? Yes or no. 4, can users opt out of the sale of personal data in at least 2 different ways? Yes or no. And moving on to the last actionable step, the management and documentation of consent. So what you want and need to be doing is to be documenting all the consent of people opting in and opting out of data. Obviously, you can do this manually, but it would be extremely time consuming, but you can also automate this using different tools on your website. So in the right side, you see a screenshot of how the consent management can look. This one would support CCPA's right to delete and the look back requirements. So some of the questions you want to ask yourself here is, are you documenting your cookie consent? Yes or no? Is it possible to delete and or export the cookie consent? Yes or no? Does your cookie consent provide the necessary information for an audit log? Yes or no? And are you blocking cookies and trackers depending on the opt-in and opt-out? Yes or no? So I hope with these 3 actionable steps, you got some insights and also the possibility to ask a few questions on, are you at par with all the requirements in CCPA, or is there anything you need to be doing? Okay. Now you have a few options of how you want to proceed with this. Okay. So number 1 option is you can develop this yourself. Now, you need to have a team ready for this. So you and your team would have to spend a massive amount of time and resources on building a tool like this for yourself. Okay, so you need to cater for complicated legal requirements with difficult technology. Okay, you also need a tool, processes, and a team which accommodates the new and the changing regulatory landscape, which again requires significant legal understanding and a practical understanding and know-how of what's actually needed here. Okay, you need to be able to scan your websites for cookies, image pixels, and other trackers, obviously, which is very complicated and uses significant amounts of resources and servers. So this is definitely quite complicated. And you would also need huge databases of cookies and plugins, which you can basically match against. Okay. You also need to automatically document all the consent received by visitors, and also third-party plugins, which would add additional costs for you. So for instance, if you want to geo-target your banner so you only show widgets and banners to people in California, this is something you need to add on top of everything else as well. Also, you need a way to automatically block cookies and trackers, which is actually quite surprisingly complicated technology. So you can obviously do all of this manually, but it's very time consuming and you will have to, and requires a lot of manual maintenance. And lastly, on the cookie consent management. So if it's not your core competency, then you will have to continuously identify, allocate resources to keep up with all the changes in the regulatory landscape and the updates to the technology. Okay, so this is really, is it a core competency or not? Okay, now, so getting to the CCPA compliance, you understand that you need to, obviously, number 1, be transparent with the data you collect. So are you proactively displaying what cookies and trackers you have displayed? Yes, no. Are you categorizing trackers and cookies? Yes, no. Do you have an updated privacy policy and cookie policy? Yes, no. And is it possible for consumers to contact you to request additional information? Yes, no. And the second, you obviously would understand by now, is you want to provide an access to the PI and a way to opt out. So, can visitors change their permissions to cookies and trackers? Yes, no. Can users request data to be exported and deleted using a data request form? C, do they have an option, or do you have a do not sell my personal information link present? Yes, no. And can users opt out of sale of personal data in at least 2 different ways on your website? Yes, no. And the third point, manage and document consent. Are you documenting your cookie consent today? Is it possible to delete and or export the cookie consent? Yes, no. And does your cookie consent provide the necessary information for an audit log? Yes, no. And are you blocking cookies and trackers depending on the opt-in and opt-out of your visitor? And all of this would get you to the goal, obviously. Now, you can do the other way around, use secure privacy. It is by far the fastest path towards compliance. You don't need to define the requirements and build the solution yourself. You would be able to easily install and customize the solution and track your compliance step by step. It is the easiest way without using precious developer resources and time. It is the most future-proof and scalable solution across international regulations. It is also highly customizable to fit your any website and any branding, and you would avoid doing things that are not your competency or that is not your core competency. It would help to keep your colleagues motivated, and you would be using a state-of-the-art solution. And also, essentially, you would avoid spending time, resources, and money on building things that do not work, takes time, and may not meet the legal requirements. Okay? And also, this would have the best ROI possible for you and your business. Okay? Now, just touching upon who is this really for? It is for marketeers who understand the need to a solution which is easy to install, requires minimal development effort, and is also highly customizable to fit any website branding and design. It's also for IT who understands the need for a high-performing, secure, and scalable solution which is future-proof towards new laws and regulatory changes. And lastly, but perhaps most importantly, legal who understands the complexity of CCPA and finding a solution which ensures compliance and is easy to install and manage. I want to show you just a few customer testimonials. Here we have Orascom Hotel Group. They run our solution on a number of websites in their group. So one of the testimonials here from Celine is that we needed a complete solution covering cookie consent, privacy policies, and with support for multiple languages. Secure Privacy is an easy-to-use platform which allows us to customize banners and policies to our needs, customize to fit our website identity, and have multiple languages support as well. Great support team also. We've been able to roll out this solution to all our group websites, from destination portals to individual hotel websites, and also our corporate website as well. I fully recommend this solution. Now, just another one here, CMS, Imaging Healthcare Solutions, also running our solution on their web properties. And Phil here was writing, I was looking for a means to comply with CCPA, and when I arrived at Secure Privacy's website, I instantly liked the intuitive interface of the software. I did trials of 2 different privacy software and chose Secure Privacy because of the interface, the ease of customization, and the story of all consent. I want to explain a few of the benefits that you will have with Secure Privacy. Okay, so one of them is that this is by far the fastest path towards CCPA compliance for your websites. Second, it's very easy to install, using Google Tag Manager, WordPress, Magento, yes, any CMS systems out there. There isn't any platform or website we haven't had it to work with, so it's very easy to install. It is highly customizable to fit any website design and brand. So you can use custom CSS, styling. We support, all types of colors. So if there is any specific customization needs you need, it will fit there. It also provides automated cookie and consent management with audit log documentation also. It is very affordable and has a very fast ROI as well. And it requires little or perhaps even no effort whatsoever by your developers to install. It is highly scalable. We have customers with 1,000 domains. We actually have a customer now with 10,000 domains running on Secure Privacy. So, from 1 to a few to 1,000, it scales really well in terms of compliance and domains. It is secure, and it is a high-performant solution, and the script is only 6 kilobytes, so it adds no weight on your website. Okay. So here I want to walk you through some of the key features you will have with Secure Privacy and help you towards CCPA compliance. Okay. So one of them is the cookie consent banner, helping you to provide transparency around the data and also to support the CCPA requirement of the right to notice. Okay, we have an automated cookie policy generator. We have a website cookie and plugin scanning tool. So this is something we will scan every month on your website. We can also customize this interval on your behalf if that's needed. We have a very advanced policy generator. So this is something where your legal team also can change the text inside our privacy policy generator. We have a preference center where the visitors can change and control their settings and cookies and trackers later on from your website, all fully automated. We have geo-targeting banners included. So let's say you want to target the banners only to people in California, so people coming out of Washington or Texas or Europe, for that sake, would not be seeing the banner. So we have that kind of targeting included as well. We have automated cookie blocking. So once installed, it blocks the cookies and tracking. We have data request forms, so people can actually request data to be exported and deleted from other systems beyond what you have on the website. It could be SAP, CRM systems, etc. We have a multi-domain management and governance, so you can scale up and scale down in terms of domains. We have advanced user management, so if you need role access controls, where some people need access to all the domains and some need access to only a few domains, we support that. And we have we support more than 70 languages. So if you, for instance, need support for English and Spanish, you can enable that per domain. But also you can edit that text within each of the banners as well. Okay. I want to show you some examples how it looks on different customer websites right here. This is banner right here. So you can see they provide a brief privacy notice, have a link to the privacy policy. They categorize all the tracking they have on the website, and I have access to additional details. Okay, so an example right there. We have a cookie policy generator, the privacy policy generator, and cookie policy generator, which is editable right here and provides a beautiful ways to scroll on the policy on your website. We provide automated website compliance scanner with actionable steps you need to take to get to 100% compliance. We break it down by first-party and third-party cookies. We also look at the security elements on the website, which is increasingly important in CCPA and international data privacy laws. We also look at the source of the cookies and other trackers. Okay. Now, here is a preference center. Everything is editable also by language. So we have lawyers written the text, but if your lawyers or communication team needs to change the text, all of this is possible within the WYSIWYG, or what you see is what you get interface right here. We have the automated cookie blocking. So it's essentially the same as installing a Google Analytics tool, but in this case, a compliance and privacy software. But it's very easy to install, and we support many platforms out there right out of the box. And we do have a WordPress plugin also. Here's an example of a highly customizable data request forms. You can add, remove fields. It can support export of requests. Also, we have a very nice feature which will validate a user before you get the email. So in the case that, let's say I write my name Dan right here, I write a bogus email, then you would not be receiving the email because he or she would have to verify that this is indeed Dan. But since he's just writing a bogus email, he wouldn't be able to validate it, and it would not be passing over to you. Okay. This is something which is included here as well. All the templates are highly customizable as well. We support geo-targeting of banners. So you see right here, we support targeting, let's say, to Californians only. Then we have a request from existing CCPA customers also to have it for entire US. So we have customers outside of California which would like to have the banners appearing for all the US states. So in that case, you would just select United States in that case. Okay. This is an example of the language support we provide here. Okay, more than 70 languages. That should cover your need. And lastly, here is an example of the cookie consent documentation audit trail, which can be exported, deleted, as you see fit. Okay, so all of this would be available within your platform. Okay, I do hope you found the video valuable. So obviously the purpose here was to explain a bit about what is the purpose of CCPA, how it may impact your business, but also how secure privacy may be able to help you in your journey towards compliance. Okay, now feel free to book a free call with us. We'd be happy to learn your company better, and we can see how we can work together on this moving forward. Okay, cool. Okay, thank you. Bye.